from Freehold, New Jersey, the home of the boss, Bruce Springsteen. I got 2 words for you. Hank and Jim.
Jim, you know, when our beloved announcer Johnny Holiday says Hank and Jim,
he means it.
He means it. And you know what that means?
No.
It means we're live, baby. We made it, Howard, with all the trouble of technical problems, Howard.
Jesus Christ.
We made it. Thank you, Orson Welles, for fast thinking on your feet.
We know a remote farm in Lincolnshire.
He's practicing
where
for a commercial.
Buckley lives.
We have some remote link up in Lincolnshire or something.
I know what Orson means. We are broadcasting literally around the world. Hello again, everybody. My name, Hank Hayes. His name, Gymnasium. And welcome to the weekly live broadcast of the Pirate Radio Guy. Ladies and gentlemen, it's so exciting. It's the Pirate Radio Guy. I am the Pirate Radio Guy, but Gymnasium is also a Pirate Radio Guy. So at the present moment in time, we are the Pirate Radio Guys.
Or men. Pirate Radio Men.
But you know, on YouTube, everybody says, hi, okay, guys, hey, guys. Did you ever notice that? It's a YouTube thing. From day one, when people go live, they go, okay, hi, guys. Hey, guys. Everything is guys. Well, I am the guy, and you are a guy, so tonight we are the guys. Everybody on YouTube, everybody in YouTube land, when they say guys tonight, right now, at this time, while we're live, they're talking to us. They're talking to you, Gymnasium. They're talking to me, Hank Hayes.
That's right.
Now, for those of you new to the channel, Jim, let's introduce ourselves. We take a couple of minutes and tell everybody what we're about. It's a relatively new podcast. This is episode number 8, Jim.
8.
And, you know, it's I'm not used to counting the episodes that we've done because Gymnasium and I have done so many underground broadcasts that if we were to do a count, it would take a lifetime just to count it now. And we never counted back in the days. Back in the days when we were live all the time on the air without a license. You see, you young whippersnappers, it's so easy. You have your phone in your hand. You don't even need a studio. You don't need a computer. You just need your telephone, right? You need your cell phone. And they can go live now to the entire world, which is really exciting. It's exciting to old guys like us because what we had to do was a lot different than just, you could have gone into your mother's bedroom where she had a telephone, right? She had an extension on the nightstand next to her bed. And you could have looked at that telephone and said, boy, if only I could use this telephone to broadcast live to the world. That would have been very difficult back then. Very difficult. It might have been able to be done, as I lose my voice. Next to impossible, I think.
Next to it, but not quite impossible, but next to it.
But that's not what Gymnasium did. What Gymnasium did, what this man did right here, he figured out a way to rig. We'll use the word rig. What we call Jim is he was a rigger back in the day. A real rigger. Because he rigorously attacked his mother's clock radio, tabletop radio, and figured out how to broadcast with a receiver. That's just a miracle right there. That's a miracle, Jim. It really is a miracle.
Yeah.
For someone who didn't have much technical training, how old were you when you first got that idea and started to try experimenting on the table, opening up the back of the radio and figure out how to broadcast with a receiver? Would you say you might have been? I can't wait to hear how old you were because I know that we started doing it, or we had the idea to do it when I was about 13 or 12 or 11. So you must have been.
I was about 15.
The most, right?
The most, yeah.
So 15-year-old. To turn around, how much technical training did you have when you were 15? Any?
Very minimal.
Minimal technical training?
Very minimal.
You were not trained whatsoever?
No, I was not trained whatsoever.
You just got the idea, which you might as well have gotten the same idea looking at the telephone.
Well, the thing was, my dad would always be fixing our television sets when they went on the blink.
It had tubes?
Yes, many times it put out the blanket on top of the table, took the TV, put it on because you had to, put the blanket or a towel, whatever it was.
This was in lieu of calling a television repairman who used to come to the house.
Right, and
charge a lot of money.
Yes, they did. Even back then. But he would figure out what might be wrong. If it was tubes, we would take the tubes out, and me and him would go to the candy store and they had a tube tester.
Now, can I ask you, which candy store? Was it the one by the Key Food?
Yes.
Wow.
They had a tube tester in there. And we would go in there and test the tubes. And if we found a couple that were weak, he would go out and buy a couple
the
of
candy
ones.
store.
Yes.
The candy store.
Yes.
You go to test your tubes for your TV set or your radio.
Right. And so he was good with that, a little bit.
So what would happen? You'd sit there and you'd peer into the guts
Yes.
of the TV and see what would you see in there?
It was frightening. Yes, transformers and tubes and wires and
Tubes.
it was like so far. I'm used to looking at the front of the TV set, not the back, with the back off. It was scary.
And that big picture tube, that was interesting to see.
And he was smart enough to know you don't touch anything around the picture tube because there's thousands and thousands of volts running through that thing.
And imagine trying to do that to a flat screen TV today. You'd open it up and all you'd see is a
A little tiny circuit board.
a little circuit board. Back then, and that picture tube, that was scary because the picture tube, although the picture was on the front, obviously, but the tube went way back, like 2 feet in.
And attached to it is the what is it called?
The gun.
The gun? No, it's got a name.
I thought it was an a photon gun.
Yeah, but that piece that hangs on the back of the picture tube that provides all the voltage and
With
stuff.
all, like the cap? With the
it
wires?
has a name. I can't remember.
Oh, I didn't know it had a name. I did not know. Orson, are you familiar with that name?
What?
He's not paying attention. I didn't know that had a name.
Yes. Where's Mike Flagg when you need him?
So,
He would know. Obviously, he would know.
so you watch your father repair it, and now basically he knew enough to maybe find a bad tube.
Yeah. If it was minor like that, a tube, or really couldn't do much else, without getting electrocuted.
You know what's funny? I think my recollection of the first 15 or 16 years of my life when we had, lots of tubes in the, before we bought the solid state, Works in a Drawer by Zenith. I really only remember a TV repairman coming to my house at most twice, but I seem to recall you had it a lot. Now, what was going on? Did you have a run of bad TVs, or did your father kick the TV a lot when his horse race? He lost the horse race, right? His horse didn't come in, and he kicked the TV.
I think
that how it worked.
We watched more TV than your family did.
Yes.
The TV was on from the time we woke up until the time the last person was still standing.
Jim, wait. Is it possible that you were thinking of what was connected to the back of a picture tube? Was it the flyback transformer?
No.
Oh. Because that was another thing that was sent in by our friend Dominic. Alan Sane suggested that one.
The flyback. That was replaced on one of my TVs back in the 70s.
So what would happen is your father and your Uncle Moose would be watching the horse race, fifth race at Aqueduct, where they both bet half of their paycheck, and they would lose, and one of them would kick the TV. And then the TV didn't work, and you'd always have to call the TV repairman to your house. Is that what it was?
No, actually, well, you remember the old TV sets, you had the dial, or the tuner, or the vertical hold.
Yes, there was vertical hold and horizontal hold.
Right. They would start to just start flipping. Or,
Yes.
slowly.
The flipping. I wish we could recreate that.
We had to slap the TV. I learned you had to slap the TV on the right side where the tuner was,
Yes.
and it usually fixed it, which probably didn't help in the long run.
Didn't help all the other components.
Yeah.
So you'd sit there watching your father go inside the TV set. Mm-hmm. And that must have, that was just like amazing.
I have to tell you that all the tape recorders I got when I was a kid, I used to open them up, look in the back. How does it work? What makes this thing move? How are the wheels turning? I would look and see a little motor in there. And I said, oh, there's a motor. I would start to, not experiment with it, but I was curious.
You'd play around with them. By the way, I don't know I don't know if you're aware of this, but you were known for that. The discussions in my house when your mother would come to visit, and many times the discussion would be, "Oh, Jim Nazium did it again. We got him this tape recorder for Christmas. It doesn't work. It's already broken." And my mother would say, "What do you mean it's already broken? He's only had it a month." Well, he opened it up. He opened it up. Yeah, he opened it up, and there was an actual conversation where my mother said, well, that's a sign of genius. It could be a sign of genius that he has to understand. And even your mother agreed. He seems to have to understand how things work. He's curious. He tries to understand how it works. Unfortunately, once in a while, the equipment breaks.
Yeah.
But you were like a surgeon.
You can't turn from it any longer. You have got to know.
And the same thing about music. I had to know I had to know why it does this. Why do I get these chills every now and then?
Why you get chills? You need a doctor?
If you believe that, you'll believe anything.
The test confirmed what I suspected.
Uh-oh.
And I want to know why some songs make you happy, some make you sad. What is it? So that was on my mind back then until I started learning how to play instruments and learn music. And then I discovered...
When you're back, go back to Bedford Avenue. Let me know you're outside.
Always needed to know how the inner workings of things. Well, this led you to it led my friend here to a fateful discovery that back then, I don't know if they still do it now, but back then, every radio that was receiving radio stations you were listening to had a frequency that they would transmit at very, very, very light, very small, minimal power. But you discovered that, and one thing led to another. After all those years of going in and opening up equipment and figuring things out, he successfully turned a receiving radio into a transmitting radio. And then naturally the next step was he figured out how to get audio in. And we started playing Beatle records and other records on the air where we could listen, and you were transmitting to the entire 8th floor, the Marlboro Projects in Brooklyn. And then somehow managed to go across the street to L&B Spumoni Gardens Pizzeria. And there it was. We suddenly became pirates. We were radio pirates in Brooklyn.
Yeah, we just didn't have the patch over one eye.
Little did we know where that fateful discovery, Gymnasium, that scientific discovery.
Imagine that.
Where that would take us and lead us in our lives, and the many adventures and things that went on for decades and years even.
This is a very dramatic thing.
Yeah.
That one little crazy...
And because of that, we met a lot of people through it, and one of which is a good friend, Pete Sayek.
Of course, Pete Sayek.
We'd not know who he was if we didn't do pirate radio.
Pete Sayek, also another pirate radio guy. Now, I want to point out, Pete Sayek was with us for the entire show last week. And who knows, he might call in this week. We're going to give out a phone number soon where you can actually call in if you have questions or you want to participate.
Can I call?
You can try it. That would be helpful, though, to test the line. But I wanted to say that where we are right now is it happens to be, right now, 50 years to the day where we had just done our next-to-last broadcast on a real radio station. Real meaning more than just the little transistor that you were able to get out across the street. We were on WCPR 1620 AM with a real AM transmitter. We were getting out to about 17 states and 2 Canadian provinces. And little did we know, we had just done our last regular full show 50 years ago last night. Because in 1 week, on February 7th, it will be the 50th anniversary, Jim, of the first time of many that the federal government sent agents of the Federal Communications Commission to your house, and they came into the house, and the door opened, your parents let them in, and there was, standing before you and I, 2 FCC agents with badges and identification telling us to turn the radio station off. You're breaking the law. That will be 1 week from today, and I hope that Pete's Sake will be a part of that, and who knows, other people hopefully will participate in that. That's 1 week from today. But 50 years ago right now, Jim, we were riding high.
Oh, yeah. And it was I was feeling elated. Going outside, I was saying, wow, people don't know who I am. Walking down the street. Says, people don't know you and I. We would still go to King's Plaza on Friday.
Right, our lives didn't change with the big celebrity being on WCPR. We still managed to be anonymous and lead normal lives.
We still took the bus, the B3 to King's Plaza, and go to Buddenberger And from there, go to Sam Goody and pick up another reel of BASF reel-to-reel tape. And
Now,
we felt special for some reason.
Well, it was kind of special because our station was being listened to in all of Brooklyn and large swaths of New York City, but it was also being listened to in New York State, New England, right?
Yeah.
Canada, Ontario. We know we had listeners in Ontario, Canada, and across the eastern seaboard, people were listening, and they would call. You give out that telephone number, and that phone was on fire.
That's right. I had to keep a cold water bucket close to the phone.
Now, meanwhile, I understand you needed a fire blanket, which I have. We have one in the kitchen.
And a fire extinguisher. Do we have one?
We do still have a fire extinguisher in the kitchen. Now, meanwhile, when we decided to broadcast, of course, we weren't going to go on and use our real names. Okay, so we had to come up with air names. Now, on WCPR, because obviously, I will admit, I mean, people know that my real name is not Hank Hayes. Hank Hayes is my air name. And it was the air name I used the most. So that's why I'm the pirate radio guy as Hank Hayes. But it's very easy to know my real name because I'm also live on my real channel, on Johnny Calabro on YouTube. If you go to YouTube, Johnny Calabro, which is my other channel, you'll see. You will hopefully, I have to check, but hopefully this is live right there as well. But we had to come up with what do they call that? A nom de plume?
An alias?
An alias. And since my actual real name was John, I said, well, I want to see now. I want to be alias. I want to use a fake name. How about John Doe? I thought, oh, John Doe, that's so clever. John Doe, get it? You get it? Hey, what's your name? My name is John Doe. Okay? Mm-hmm. And if you were a girl, you would have been Jane Doe.
That was a good one.
But you were not a girl.
Yes.
I don't think.
Not yet.
Not then and not now. No. Still?
Yes.
Still. All right. Very good. Very good. Very good. Hey, no, that's stop that. Stop that. Orson, stop testing the cart machine.
What?
All right. So, and you came up with a name on WCPR. What was your name?
My name was Perry Harris.
But I want to ask you, that wasn't your first name. It didn't start as Perry Harris.
Right. I was going to pick Perry Harrison.
Do you remember at all when we were practicing, when we were WKRB and the PBC and all that? Did we have names then?
I don't remember.
We hadn't, because you came up with Perry Harrison.
But we figured it's George Harrison's last name.
Well, you decided that. I was happy with that. I thought that's a pretty good name because it reminds you of Harry Harrison.
That too.
It sounds like Harry Harrison.
It's too familiar.
I thought it was good, but then you decided to change it.
Yeah.
And of course, I stayed as John Doe. And it's funny, I was watching something on YouTube a couple of nights ago about the Marx Brothers, and you had Harpo Marx, who wrote, I don't think he wrote
that was his real name, right?
Yes. He wrote in his book, Harpo Speaks. It was either in the book or in an interview. But Harpo made this point that in the beginning, those were characters. Harpo was a character.
Right.
And Groucho was a character. And Zeppo, Gummo, and of course Chico. These were characters in one of their early what would you say, in their early times in vaudeville. Mm-hmm. And they weren't always Groucho. They wouldn't always come on. They would come on and sing, and they would do their act, and they would build, and they would. We were looking at this YouTube video was showing the playbill, where it said, well, let me see. I can't remember their names now. I know Harpo was born Adolf, but then he changed it because of Hitler. But it had their real names.
Yeah.
On the bill. But once they hit it big, and they hit it big with, I think it was Coconuts.
That was
the play. No, not the movie.
Oh, okay.
They made it big on Broadway first. When Coconuts took off, originally Coconuts had their real names, and it would say, Adolf, whatever, or Julius Marx. I think that was Groucho. It would say Julius Marx, Groucho. Mm-hmm. But once Coconuts and the Marx Brothers took off on Broadway, and this is Harpo was actually saying this, that was it. That was their names. End of story. He was going to be forever for the entire life. Yeah. He was Harpo. And for his entire life, he was Groucho. End of story. So that's kind of like what happened to me with Hank Hayes. I mean, I am Hank Hayes, ultimately. And you are Gymnasium.
But after the name John Doe.
Yes.
You chose Hal Hall. And then
choke. He choked me up.
And the gag was every station forward is going to be HH. Remember that?
Yes, that's why. You know where I came up with that? Because of we used to watch the Bowery Boys. Remember?
Yes.
Leo Gorcey and Huntz Hall. Now, what kid in our generation and before, what kid didn't love Huntz Hall?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, not only was Huntz Hall a funny guy, but it was also a funny name.
Mm-hmm.
Huntz. First of all, the first name Huntz. You know, and it's not Hunt's tomato paste. You know what I'm saying? The guy's name is Huntz, and then Huntz Hall, HH. So when we had to come up with another name, when I couldn't use John Doe anymore, it just occurred to me. I said, I'm going to come up with something with HH, and I think maybe because of Howard Hoffman. I think that was part of it. You know, Howard Hoffman was there, and he was friends with us. But I said, oh, HH, that could work. HH. So I came up with Hal Hall because I thought it made me laugh because it's HAL, HALL. All right? So that was a pretty good name.
Yeah.
So I was Hal Hall, and what were you when? That was WFAT we're talking about, 1620 AM, WFAT. What was it? I was Hal Hall, and you were?
Larry McCrae.
Larry McCrae. So right there, you're trying to be a DJ. That's a real DJ name.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a real 1970s DJ name. And you came up with that in 1977. It's perfect. So here, I went for the comic. You know, I went into the comedy, trying to make people laugh. You know, a funny name, so it's funny from the beginning. And then you were going to try to be a little more slick, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to be like a slick DJ, huh, Jim?
That's right. But don't forget, WFAT, you got to talk about this. That was the pirate station, which was basically WCPR. You know, same, everything was the same.
Oh, yeah, CPR got busted 1 week from today, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Then we were off the air for a while because of the FCC saying it's illegal, you can't do this. And then when we didn't care anymore, we said, we're doing it anyway. So we came up with WFAT.
And we're supposed to be for one night only.
I know, you keep saying that. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, one night.
So for one night, you're going to be Larry McCrae, and I'm going to be Hal Hall.
And then we were going to just go away.
But still, Larry McCrae is such a slick DJ name.
Yeah.
Larry McCrae. Give us some Larry McCrae. Let's say some Larry McCrae. How does Larry McCrae go? How does Larry McCrae go? Come on, Jim.
I use my normal voice.
Come on, Jim.
We now rejoin the all-new Hank and Jim show in progress.
I don't know where the name came from. I mean, it was from Larry Kenny.
Oh, Larry Kenny.
And McCrae came from something else. What was the guy's name on Channel 68? They got that talk show at night.
Back then?
No, but I had the name before then. He had a weird name. It wasn't McCrae. It was something similar.
It's funny you mentioned Larry Kenny. I was talking about Larry Kenny. His name came up at lunch today with some of my poker buddies.
He was a DJ back in the day, mostly, I think, country music, and he also had a TV show locally in New York, Bowling for Dollars.
That's why we were talking about Bowling for Dollars.
Yeah.
And I mentioned to my friends that my mother, they asked me, did you ever hear of Bowling for Dollars? You ever hear of that? I says, yeah, my mother was on Bowling for Dollars. My mother won $7. She bowled a 7. She won $7 on Bowling for Dollars. And my friend goes, oh, what was the host? It was Larry something. I said, no, when my mother was on Bowling for Dollars, it was Bob Murphy. New York Mets announcer Bob Murphy was the host. And then Larry Kenny replaced him years later. And yes, Larry Kenny was a DJ in New York.
Mm-hmm.
He was very funny. And he had the eyebrows. Remember, whenever he would talk, he had DJ eyebrows, FM DJ eyebrows.
Yeah, and the thing was, because of his eyebrows, and another one was Spock on Star Trek, and McCoy, every time it says, wow, look, we would look at that, and then it was what's the guy, the $6 million man? What was his name?
Oh, Lee Majors,
and him too with the eyebrow. So I said, wait, we have to use our eyebrows.
We have to use our eyebrows.
Because, you know...
You've got to use your eyebrows. Howard, you've got to use your eyebrows.
It's just insanity.
It must be part of acting. You got to be able to use them independently and at the same time. It's for more expressions. So I remember always walking to like a bus stop or something, or just walking somewhere. I did a lot of walking. I would be constantly doing, trying to do it, while I'm outside. While I'm
you
walking.
must have got some pretty good looks.
I ignored it. Whatever it was, I ignored it. But eventually, I says, all right, I would hold one down. It says, I can't make one go up by itself. But then by doing that, I felt all of the muscles, or whatever they are, the nerve endings, muscles. And I said, whoa, I did it. One eyebrow is up when the other one's not. And then I says, can I do it the other side? And it took time. I had to do the same thing. And then I did.
Yes.
And you were starting to do it too. We both.
You had to learn how to do eyebrows.
Yes.
You had to.
1274 Bedford before.
Now, meanwhile, Larry Kenny, and he used to talk Larry Kenny. So yeah, Larry, but you don't remember where you got the McCrae from. It sounded good though, Larry McCrae.
Yeah, I got it from something, TV or something. Who knows? I just don't remember.
So now when WFAT winds up getting busted, and then we return to the air, I decide I'm going to stick with the HH, right? The HH, it's like a motif. And again, HAHA even, both of the HA names, and there I am. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Hank Hayes. There it is, Hank Hayes.
And now, here's Hank Hayes.
And one of the stations for a while you did Hughes.
Well, there is an interesting thing because we decided to go on AM, and I was Hank Hayes on FM locally. And then we decided to do a big, we always do this. This is why we got busted 5 times. 5 times the FCC came down on us because we would always disobey the FCC and wind up going back on the air. The lure was too great. So we decided to go on AM, and we hadn't been on AM for a while. So I said, well, if I go on AM as Hank Hayes, which I was using at the time on a big pirate station, WHOT was huge. And there it is. I said, wait, huge. It's got to be big. It's got to be huge. I'm going to be Hugh Hughes. Do you remember that one?
Yes.
Hugh Hughes. Was that on WGUT? GUT. But I thought on GUT I was Gus Guts.
I was Gus Guts.
Oh, you were Gus Guts. Gymnasium, Mr. Guts. There he is, Gus Guts. And Hugh Hughes, ladies and gentlemen. These are the names that we use. All right. This is what two idiots, 2 complete, absolute idiots from Brooklyn, this is what they do. This is what we did with our spare time, and not even us. We didn't have spare time. Because the pirate radio became our lives. Gymnasium, would you agree that the pirate radio literally became our lives? Our lives.
It did. It consumed our lives. And it was always, in the back of my mind, whatever I was doing, he says, all right, don't forget, you got to buy tape. Got to record the show. I had to go out of my way. You had to do, remember with WHOT. Every week I was going to, I don't remember the name of the store. Was it Zigzag Records? Did they sell? That was on, no, it wasn't that
Zigzag
one.
wasn't, that was Avenue U, wasn't it?
It was on Avenue U and Coney Island Avenue.
Oh, Coney Island Avenue.
There was a store I used to go to, take the bus.
No, Zigzag was a little further, in the East Streets.
So I can't remember the name of the store, but I would go there every...
Oh, it was on the corner.
Yeah, it was on the corner.
Oh, I went with you there. We bought cases of cassettes.
Yes, we would buy the case.
Pete Say came one time. He found the monkeys on Coal Gems on a 45 in that place.
It was a record store too, right?
Yes, it was a record store.
And I would go there every Friday to buy cassettes, but I would always buy a case. They were cheap there for some reason. And
yes, well, just like now when we have to search for cheap gas, back then we were searching for cheap boxes of Sony HF 60s and 90s.
And I found that those were good. They were durable. And
it's a good utility tape.
Yes. We didn't need a high bias tape because it made everything sound too bright.
Like Maxell XL2 or whatever it was.
And they were very expensive.
Of course.
But it was
and they didn't last as long.
No,
they
didn't.
Not at
they
all.
had dropouts. It says this tape doesn't have dropouts. So you play it over and over again, and it keeps the integrity of the sound pretty, lifelike, like it's live. It didn't boost the high end, so it was a good, good compromise. so to speak.
Jim, I've got to say hi to Thrill Science. He's saying hi to us from the YouTube chat room. That's right. Robert Swirsky, who was joined us, and he's been listening for many moons. He was on with us, and we're going to give out a phone number. If anyone wants to call in, Robert or anyone else, let's put the phone number on the screen while we're thinking about it, because we've got a phone number, and it would be crazy not to take a phone call if anybody would like to participate. That's right. We are bringing listener and viewer participation to the internet works, Jim. Could be dangerous. Could be dangerous.
I know.
But danger has never stopped us before, has it, Jim? Has danger ever once stopped us in the past? Huh?
Never.
Never. It was never once we said that's too dangerous. Says, Hank, listen, I need you to do it. When it gets dark, I need you to climb on the roof of a New York City housing project building by yourself. And I want you to go on this roof where you're not allowed to go. You are not allowed on the roof. But I need you to go on the roof anyway. And I need you to string up a wire so we could do a transmission. Was any question about, well, isn't that a little dangerous? Did that question come up at all?
No. Danger was never a part of it. We knew it was dangerous. It was accepted. But you still have to go up on that roof.
In other words, it was a given. It was a given in the equation.
On an earlier program, I showed this when I talked about inertia.
It was absolutely understood before anything. It's automatically dangerous.
Look at this. Isn't this fantastic?
All right, so that's
Indeed.
part. It's part of the equation. And that's scientific.
Yes.
But we're giving out a phone number. That phone number, of course, is area code 816.
Hey,
excuse me.
Cigar.
No, I put it out. I tried to end it before you got here. 816-974 7283, which is also 816-9 Jim Pirate. 816-9 if you'd like to join. The number's on the screen. And hopefully if someone calls, we'll know about it. So in the meantime, yes, what was I saying before? That about the names. Isn't that interesting, though, about the Marx Brothers, that they were not, that was characters until it took off, and that was it. They would forever, and he said it, Harper said it. He said, forever, the rest of our lives, that's who we are. Mm-hmm. That's it. Now, I can go by Hank. I have friends. You make friends in radio. You make friends. You do shows. You meet people. All over the years of doing the Hank and Jim show on the internet, because we've been doing that, God knows how many years. We'd have to figure that one out.
Since 2004.
Since 2004.
Yeah.
Oh, that might be 22 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Just about, yeah.
22 years of Hank and Jim on the internet. And we make friends. We still have friends around the country and even around the world. When we hang out, we've had barbecues. We've had get-togethers around the country. And when we get together, people call me Hank. And I've had a handful of people like Dave in Bay Ridge. Dave in Bay Ridge was one guy that refused to call me Hank. You know who else refused to call me Hank? Scott Flato.
Oh.
Scott Flato got into it with Tommy Edison one time. Scott Flato came up to the radio station in Connecticut where I was working with our friend Tommy Edison. And Scott Flato, and every time Scott would say to Tommy, John was with me when John and I went to the baseball game, and Tommy would say, Hank. You mean Hank? And Scott Flato would say, John. No, his name is John. And he says, okay, Hank. John. Then we get into it. And now, speaking of getting into it, I don't know how to do this. Jim, what do I do?
It's on the bottom. The green.
Oh, thank you. Let's see. Who is live with Hank and Jim? Hello.
Hi there. It's Roy. I'm calling from Key Biscayne.
Roy from Key Biscayne?
Yes. Did you know the owner of the Everready Battery Company has a swimming pool shaped like a flashlight?
Yes.
I think you want to talk to Long John.
Yes, may I help you?
Hi, Long John. I'm coming down.
Get off the air, you think.
And we're going to go fisticuff, you and I.
I'm sure I didn't get your question.
He wants a question.
I gotta go, Jim. I gotta go. Hey, bye.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you for checking in. Thank you so much. Roy from Key Biscayne. John. Speaking of John, that's Long John now, but we have a panel of experts, and one thing that we've always had Let me wrap up the thing about. Did I wrap up the Marx Brothers? The fact that I was back to our friends from around the country, and they would say, "Do you want to be called Hank? Do you want to be called John?" I can answer to either one.
Right.
Only my wife always calls me John, but the rest of
other things,
among other things, the people I know, I answer equally. It's absolutely equal, Jim. If someone was to say, "Hey, Hank," I turn around, I look. Someone would say, "John," I turn around, I look. All right, so that's the way it is. But speaking of Long John Neville, you just got a phone call. Think about all these years later.
All right, fine. So we both agree.
We agree. It's fantastic.
Well, how would you know it would work if you don't even know what the plan is?
It worked. The phone number worked. Area code 816-974-7283. You can call in. You can talk to Hank. You can talk to John. You can talk to Jim. What name are you? Tonight you're Jim? You're always going to be Jim.
I'm always going to be Jim.
And you could talk to our panel of experts. Now, by the way, Jim, we have had a panel of experts for many, 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 many moons, right? Mm-hmm. Who was our first panel of experts? I think it was Howard Cosell.
Yeah.
Howard, you were one of the first.
Back in the 70s.
Can somebody talk to me?
Howard, we're right here. Ladies and gentlemen, Howard Cosell.
All right, let's go.
And, of course, Orson Welles, the one and only. He's been our director for many decades. Yeah. Orson Welles is on our panel of experts.
Here under protest is beef burgers.
And, of course, Long John Neville, one of the first people to take phone calls on the radio, Jim. Did you know that? He's the first one to take the phone call, actually, where you hear the phone call.
Let me just say this to you.
Go ahead, John.
Goodbye.
All right. Originally, when radio shows would have phone calls, the guy would sit there and hold the phone to his ear and say, "All right, let's take a call from Joe. Hello, Joe. That's very interesting. Joe says hello to everyone."
That's right.
What else is going on, Joe? Joe wants to ask about the bill that's currently in Congress right now. What do we think? What's that, Joe? Yes, the bill in Congress. And that you would only hear the host would have to tell you what the phone caller says.
They didn't have a coupler.
But it was Long John Neville. And he used to do that, too.
Yeah.
It was Long John Neville that first had the show where they says, we're going to put the show on the air because they Long John's people invented or were able to create the 7-second delay.
Get off the phone, you creep.
All right, so if he got somebody, if there was anyone out there that would want to make a prank phone call to Long John Neville, I don't know anybody that would really want to do that. Why would you want to make a prank phone call to Long John Neville? Why? But in case there was like a 1 in a million prank to Long John Neville, they could dump out of the call into the delay.
Hey, wait a moment, pal. If you're still listening.
Remember that, John? You had a delay, just in case.
Look, pal, you won't dare meet me.
And that was our original panel of experts, was Long John Neville, Howard Cosell, and our beloved director, and also very intelligent man, Orson Welles.
In July. I'd love to know how you emphasize in July.
Well, we still have a panel of experts right now. Our panel of experts has expanded.
Oh, yeah.
They're always ready to talk to us, to advise us, to let us know how we're doing, and to talk to the phone callers if the phone callers
Hey, do me a favor, drop dead while you're doing it, too.
So these are the things that we do. So what else, Jim? What else is going on, man? It's been very cold.
Very cold. Too cold.
If we had an AM transmitter in this house, it probably would be on just to warm up the room.
Yes. I used to do that on very cold nights. I would say, I can't go in the air because the FCC just shut us down, but I would turn on the filaments. 19 tubes in there. Got nice and warm. Kept the room warm.
Speaking of tubes, could you have taken any of those tubes to the candy store and tested them on that tube tester in the candy store by Key Food?
That thing was built to last.
I'm saying if you could. Do you think that any of those tubes would have... Yeah? Really?
Yeah, well, the audio tubes.
Oh, wow, yeah.
6L6Gs in there.
Wow.
Yeah. There's some tubes in there that, no, you would not be able to.
Tell us more about the tubes. I know there's a lot of techies that listen. They want to hear what the tubes were.
I don't remember all that. I mean, I'd have to look it up. But it had 19 tubes in it.
19 tubes.
4 6L6Gs, I believe, in the audio section. The RF section had 3 807s. All right?
Wow.
And the rest of the tubes, I would not be able to tell you what they were, but there were tubes in there.
Mercury vapor tubes.
Oh yeah, the 2 mercury vapor tubes. That was how that was getting power from this gigantic transformer. It had to be like this big. I mean, it was tremendous.
I know. I remember that one. I used to just look at that transformer.
When you hit the plate current, every time you hit it, the whole unit, and this thing is heavy. It's like 120 pounds. And it's a big black box, the Collins transmitter. You hit the plate switch, and you felt it in the switch. You feel like gunk. You feel all the voltage. Everything is going at once, and the whole thing would just make this gigantic sound, but not electric sound. It was the sound of electricity hitting everything at once, but it made such a crazy sound. And the smell this unit made was like, I could still smell it in my mind.
When you first turned it on?
Yes.
You know, that electric...
The electric 1940s.
Almost like, you ever get that? I get that with, we have an electric heater.
Yeah.
And if we haven't used it for a while, when we first turn it on, there's a certain smell, and it takes me back. And that was part of it.
Yes.
I don't want to know what that is. I think I have an idea. I've had an idea. I've had a discussion with our other expert, Professor Dr. Julia Sumner Miller, of what that odor might be caused by.
Oh, I like to do this once in a while because it adds to the drama of the matter.
But, yes, that electronic odor, Jim. I know what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. And I remember...
As long as you're not smelling the smell of a burning capacitor. That's something you don't want to smell.
That thing never failed. And I remember in the beginning when we first got the transmitter, it would arc every now and then. Arc means voltage that is going from one point to another, from hot to ground, because of some other material. Might have been a lot of dust, something, and it would spark, and it'd make a loud sound. So I remember Patrick, a friend, it was a close friend of Randall back in the day.
An associate.
Yes. Well, one day, whoever it was, he came over and he took the entire back off. He took it apart and he cleaned it out. He says, you got a lot of, like loose components, like solder joints and things. Solder, just little pieces of metal. There was like a resistor just floating around in the bottom of the cage that was built around
and
it.
And they didn't sell cans of air then. You couldn't just run on get a can of air.
And physically clean it with cloths and very carefully. And he cleaned that thing so good because once he put it back together, it never did that again. The entire time, the rest of the time I owned it.
Jim, you know what that smells like? According to our friend Legends 813, it smells like ozone.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
The smell of ozone, among other things.
All right. Like when it starts raining, like, sometimes in the spring.
Yes.
Ever smell that coming off the sidewalk?
Of course, the smell of ozone.
Yeah.
And imagine if you're in Ozone Park and you smell ozone. Forget about it. Forget about it. I hear myself. Turn that off. Turn it off. Thank you.
All right.
But, oh, man, I'm telling you, Jim. I'm telling you, we had some wild times. We had some wild times. And, of course, the fact that the transmitter was right next to your bed, there was even other odors that we can't get into right now. We're not going to get into them right now.
During the WHOT days, we had what was it called, an exciter. It was a Heathkit exciter, which just puts out the signal, very low power, maybe a watt, and then you needed an RF amplifier to boost it.
Yes.
Anyway, I remember that thing. The way the tune, it had a variable. You could what do you call it?
You could vary it.
You could vary the frequency.
It had a variable.
Yes,
thing?
A variable capacitor. I don't know what it was called, but it was all the way inside, so there was something wrong with it. We couldn't keep it enclosed. So at the time, our engineer at the time...
Which one?
Joe.
Which Joe?
Oh, we know so many Joes.
Joe D?
The first, yeah.
Okay, Joe D. Joey D.
He took the innards of a big, not a big pen, but a pen,
Yes.
Yeah, and he put it upside
of a big pen.
Yeah, he put it upside down and somehow affixed the plastic end, the tip, onto the little screw.
I remember this.
And it stuck all the way out, and it actually just barely made it out of the cage of the back of the transmitter.
Let's get a close-up of what Jim is talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's it right there.
When you're in pirate radio and you don't have a dime, you don't have 2 pennies to rub together, what our chief engineer did was he opened up a big pen, took out the insides, like you see right here, from my big pen, and it turns out that this little hole, right, and the end of the plastic hose here, the nozzle, He stuck it like this onto the variable tuner, and that's how Gymnasium would tune the transmitter.
Yeah.
He would turn a Bic pen, upside down, Bic pen, ladies and gentlemen, because when you have no money, you must improvise.
And the thing was, I couldn't keep the back on it because it would drift too much. It was kind of like a little flimsy. So I kept the back off, and it's sitting on the rug. I said, okay, the rug won't short it out. But there were times that I was playing with it, trying to adjust it, trying to get squeeze a little more power. I managed to get a little more power out of it, believe it or not. So, occasionally I made the error of touching something that was grounded with my left hand. And I remember one time I got a shock that went right through my chest. And I says, "Whoa, that didn't feel good." And I felt like a little dizzy for like an hour.
Tajiki Tahiki for Ho-Chunk. Qual Hayakwa.
That's what I was saying.
Skanani. Bingo.
That's all Jim would say for like 2 hours.
You're a sick man.
So that was scary. And a couple of times, I says, all right, never do that again. But I managed to get voltage to go through my hand. And I says, ah! And that, it stung for like a day or two. I still felt it like numb. So you got to be careful when you're inside your transmitter.
Yes, when anybody out there that's going to go inside their transmitter, someone's that's going to put their fist inside their transmitter. Stop fisting your transmitter. It's dangerous.
Stay away from the transformers and the capacitors.
Find something else. All right.
And as a side note, the day they shut down, the FCC came in to shut down WHOT after its 9-year run. One of the agents, and Judah Mansbach was in there, and one of the 3 agents, FCC agents, was dismantling everything because he was the younger one. There was 2 agents dismantling the equipment while Judah was saying, "Take this, take that, take this, take that." And he says, "Take the transmitter." Yeah, that's it's the exciter. And it doesn't have the back on, so he just puts both hands. He grabs it, and he goes, "Ah!" And he drops.
Good for him.
Shock. I was giving that smile. If you
Good for him.
Lost my mind, which I haven't got.
If you ever saw
I lost my mind.
the James Bond movie with what's his name, Daniel Craig, the first one, Casino Royale. When the guy, when he's over there when James Bond's in handcuffs.
Yeah.
And because he managed to slip the little bomb that's supposed to go off and set off the truck on the other guy, the guy that wants to blow it up. Mm-hmm. He clipped it to his belt, and you just see him, and he's panicking. Where is it? Because he hears because he charged it. It was about to explode, and you just see James Bond like this, and you just see from just the light hitting him, and he does a little grin. He does. That was what I was doing. The little grin reminded me of that when I saw that scene.
Oh, always good. Always good stuff. Well, we have a telephone number. If you'd like to participate. Yes, we allow you to participate in the World Wide Web. And I know why I have an idea why the phones don't light up like crazy. Because we're in the world where people like to text, Jim? Mm-hmm. We're going, this is 20, 25 years now. That you have a friend and they say, "Give me your number," and then you can text all day long, nonstop. Mm-hmm. But then if you were to call them, they wouldn't know how to, like you and I, we remember what it's like to be on the phone. Still, you to this day, the phone is next. That Jim talks on the phone. Let me just point this out. I want to point this out. Jim, to this day, talks on the phone, if not as much, possibly more than he did when he was an adolescent.
No, not much less.
When Jim and I, we would have the phone glued to our ear. Now Gymnasium has that little thing there. What's that called? The Bluetooth. Many times when I'm near Jim, I hear him talking, and I'm thinking, "Oh, is he talking to me? Who's he talking to?" I'm like, "Howard, who is he talking to?"
Well, I just don't know. I just don't know.
And I go, "What? What? And he's like, "Oh, no." You don't even say it. He just points to his Bluetooth.
Well, a lot of times I have it in my ear because that way I can hear if there's a notification. Because everyone's texting me. No one wants to call me anymore.
But, Jim, you and I are anomalies. We still talk on the phone.
Yeah.
But, so now, younger people, we're the old, let's admit it, Jim. We are the older generation. It's finished. We're the older generation. Gymnasium. The young people, they don't know about talking, so everything is text. So I knew, even though we have a phone number, 816-9-PIRATE, I know that there are people like, no way, I would never call. Mm-hmm. I can't call and actually talk. They'd rather text or be in the chat, which is fine. Mm-hmm. But we are introducing, because that's one of the things we've tried to do from day one. When Gymnasium was putting his fist inside of his mother's radio, I said, radio. He was putting his hand deep inside his mother's radio, trying to figure out how to make this radio transmit as well as receive.
Every July?
We have been innovators. So we are innovating live participation, viewer and listener participation live on the World Wide Web. And there it is. And I think it's a wonderful, I think it's a good.
Number 16 today.
I said I think it's good.
Oh, man. All right. Do what you got to do.
It's a good thing. We got to do what we got to do, Jim.
You got to do what you got to do.
So once again, we are 1 week away. 1 week away from today.
Yes.
When we got busted for the very first time by the FCC.
And the reason why. Do you remember the reason why?
Has to do with the telephone.
Yep.
We were taking phone calls using internal telco loop lines. And they weren't working, or were they working, or were they being?
They're being jammed.
Yeah, people were jamming. Somebody would always a troublemaker out there. Somebody would jam.
The thing is, you can't hang up on the person at the other end. If they stay on the line, then we can't take calls unless we have another number. Hang up on that one and get a different one. But they would just do the same thing.
So the pranksters out there figured, hey, I got a way that we can screw these guys up. And every time they try to go take a phone call, we're gonna clog the line. We're gonna jam the line. And we wanted the phone call so badly. I mean, the phone calls were the best thing. And we gave out. And I know I talked you into it, but you admitted that you also.
Yes.
We both share. We share in the in giving out your
50,
home
50.
phone, your parents' home telephone number.
I could have said no.
You could have said no. He tried. The FCC was so happy. Like, we might as well have given out the address, the zip code, the floor, the building number, building 2, 8th floor, apartment 8D. Come on down, knock on the door. Come out of the elevator, make 2 right turns, and there you are. You'll be in front of the radio station, and then the very next week.
You just pass by the incinerator door. It's right there, the incinerator.
Throw something away in case when you're on the drive-through line. I go to Dunkin' Donuts drive-through, and I have to pass the incinerator. I have to pass the trash can, so I use that opportunity. So as Judah and the other FCC agents are passing the incinerator, they can use the opportunity to get rid of all the lint that they have in their pockets.
Howard Cosell for the 66th time. All right.
I wanted to ask you, when they came to bust WFAT, FAT, we saw them in the courtyard because we kept looking. And did we? I seem to remember this, but maybe I'm wrong. Didn't we think of taking the transmitter and trying to getting it out of the apartment, putting it somewhere behind one of those little walls? Did we think
the
about
cubbies?
Yeah, we call them
cubbies.
cubby holes. It was like little walls that separate where the windows.
You may have thought of that. I know you were scrambling. You were cutting down the antenna.
I think we wanted to do that, but we didn't have the time because
that thing was so heavy. It's not like we should have had it on the dolly.
Yes.
If we had it on a mover's dolly, that's what that should have been sitting on.
Yes.
But we didn't have. Back then, if you would have gone, they didn't have Home Depot yet.
No.
And they didn't have Lowe's. And they didn't have Harbor Freight. So what you'd have to do is we'd have to go to Duty's. That was the name of the place. Duty's. Remember that place, Jim? Yes. Duty's Hardware Store. All right? Duty's, that's the name of the place. I'm not saying something bad. I'm not saying something naughty. It was Duty's on Avenue X in Brooklyn. We would have had to go to Duty's to buy a moving what do they call that thing? A dolly. Back then, I'm thinking it probably would have been $4.99. If it was $4.99, I still would have been $6 short. Right? I still would have been $6 short.
But there was a hardware store on Avenue U. Didn't even think
there
of
was
that.
Several. There was Famart.
Yeah, and then the other one that I always went to. It was great going in there. Always the smell of paint and other,
Love hardware stores.
Yeah, that famous hardware store, the mom and pop place, next to the liquor store, if you remember. And
we didn't have a dime to buy a mover's dolly.
We didn't have 2 Indian head nickels.
If we did, then you know what?
together.
When you were cutting down the antenna,
Yeah.
and we could have just disconnected all the cables. You could have wheeled the transmitter onto the porch down by where Frida used to live.
Yes. We had enough time to do that.
Down in the cubby in front of Frida's house, and it was a big, giant cement wall. They would not have seen the transmitter, and then they could have come in. Now, of course, they come in, and what are they going to see? They're going to see, let's see, they're going to see 2 tape decks, and they're going to see microphone, and this and that and the other, just like that in the picture. But then we could sit there and play dumb and say, there's no radio station here, and they might not have found it.
It's possible. And here's the thing. I thought of it as, if you murder someone, you have to have usually it's a weapon. If it's a gun, you got to get rid of the gun.
I'm just leaving the house. You can put the coffee on in 45 minutes.
Talk about murdering somebody with a gun.
You're cut? What do you mean?
So I figured, get the smoking gun out of here as quickly as possible, but we didn't have it on a dolly.
If you actually were as innocent as you pretend to be, we'd never get anywhere.
This is so true.
So, and it was like, even thought of maybe like hitting the button on the elevator and putting something to block the door so they couldn't use the elevator. I mean, all these things are running through your head, but we didn't think of this in advance because we didn't think we were going to get caught that night. But we were on edge because we knew that it could happen. But we should have planned this out ahead. All right, if they come, one of us has to go run to the elevator room, call for the elevator, So it'll come up here and then put something blocking the door so it can't close.
You know what we needed? We needed our own little band of Antifa people to like the way they would block ice.
Well, if they had it fine, then obviously it can be fine.
That's what Jim wanted. He should have hired like 5 guys. And we knew some guys back then that would have fit perfectly well. Yeah. And they could have been blowing whistles and banging the garbage cans and blocking the doors and impeding the ice.
Hey, would you listen to
and
me?
Spitting on them and everything. But here's the thing. If we were able to block the elevator, I even thought, imagine if these guys have to climb 8 flights of stairs. They're going to be really pissed. But
Judah would love climbing 8 flights of stairs.
But we would have had the time. We just needed a little more time.
Let us go to Hank, our buddy Hank. How are you?
Hello, how are you, Mark?
Let us go to Hank, our buddy Hank. How are you?
Mark, you said that already.
So is this like being broadcast off a pirate ship somewhere?
Yeah, this is the Pirate Radio Guy. The Pirate Radio Guy. Episode 8, Mark.
They have these like pirate broadcasters. They're not actually pirates, but it means they're illegal, getting around the FCC rules.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Levin, a big fan. But you know what, Jim? I hate to say this. I hate to look back and think of something that might make us sad, but because we didn't think of it at the time. But of course, what do they say? There's a phrase, something about hindsight, right? Hindsight being 20/20.
What happens? How does it work?
Right? You look back, and whenever you look back, hindsight is 20/20. No.
What kind of business is this?
So I'm going to use my 20/20 hindsight, but I've thought of this before. And that is, after you saw the FCC, saw the marked, federal government cars, I should say, and you saw Judah and everybody grabbing their equipment and running towards the building, and you decided that the smartest thing it felt at that moment was to, like you said, shut it down and hide it. Hide the evidence. But you know what I think what we really should have done? It was an opportunity.
Yep.
Is that we should have stayed on the air live. That transmitter should have been on with an open microphone with us transmitting for as long as humanly possible until they came in the room, including with them in the room. And then you and I could have stood there and till the last bitter second, keep talking in that microphone. Don't put that microphone down. Keep talking.
Do me a favor, drop that one.
Keep talking in that microphone.
You got brains of a 4-year-old.
All right, they come in. They're storming the room. They're storming the room.
Stay with us.
And you're talking on the mic, Jim. We're talking on the mic. That would have been good.
I'm off the clock you out. 9:55.
All right.
It's a pleasure to clock you out.
The thing is, and
come on in here.
We could have clocked out Judah Mansbach with an open microphone on the air.
And the idea is have them turn it off.
Now, wouldn't that have been... You talk about drama. You want to talk about drama.
Now, what did I want to show you? Where did I put that?
All right.
They would want me to turn it off. I would, says, no, I'm not touching that. It's illegal.
Now that is it's a little. It makes me sad to think about that. Just the opportunity. I mean, it was still dramatic the way we had signed off and said goodbye. We thought we were saying goodbye forever, so that was still exciting. Because by the way, there was a series of albums or whatever about certain pirate, the pirate ships that when we used to listen to sometimes at Randall's house.
Yeah.
And you remember the one? There was a DJ. He was on a ship. This was the real European radio ships, right in the North Sea. And there was a storm, and the DJ was on the air, and he was giving updates about how, things were pretty bad. They were having 20-foot waves, and he was going to stay on as long as possible. And then you're listening to this, and I'm getting chills thinking about it because the last thing he says goodbye to his mother. Remember that? Do you remember that at all? He says, I'm going to go now. We're going to try to get in a lifeboat or something. But we're abandoning ship. And he says, love you, Mom. And that was it. Oh, man. Scary. So that's why, when I think about what could have been with Judah coming in and yelling and screaming. But all is not lost. All is not lost, Gymnasium, because we realized that. There came a point when we said, you know what? We could have just kept it on. So from then, just like you and I had several pacts over the years, remember? We had made the pact that it would only be you and I, but we had amended that to let Pete say again. Remember we made a pact that if there is ever a bust, and there will be a bust, it's going to happen. So we said eventually it is inevitable. The FCC is coming back. And we says when the FCC comes back the next time, we will have the transmitter on. It will not be turned off. Remember that? That was the plan. That was the plan. Speaking of the plan, let's see who's on the phone. Hello, you're live with Hank and Jim.
Hey, Hank and Jim. It's your old friend Robert from Cedarhurst.
Robert!
I got to turn my radio off.
Turn your Long John's radio's on.
You brought back.
I don't know, sir. I'm not an appraiser.
I don't want to take too much of your valuable
No, please. We love hearing from you, Robert. We love hearing from you, Robert.
You mentioned Duty's Lumber, and I posted a picture in your chat of a picture I took of Duty's Lumber when I was probably 10 years old with my little Brownie Instamatic. And my brother and I used to laugh our asses off whenever we passed that sign that said, depend on duty.
Depend on duty. That's correct. Depend on duty.
So there's a link I posted there, a Flickr link, so everyone can see here that we're not kidding here.
And is that in our YouTube chat room?
That's in the YouTube chat room. I posted a link, a Flickr link to my my Flickr thing where I had a picture of their sign that says in big letters, "Depend on duty."
Now, did you ever get the opportunity to go inside Duty back then?
Of course.
Yes.
I grew
what
up
a place.
Sheepshead Bay.
Oh, you did? Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh, man. That place was the best. Literally, it was the best.
I used to laugh when I used to go there. I used to pull in. Duty. I turned into Homer Simpson.
And what's funny is now we're all old men, and we still laugh at Duty.
Duty can be extremely funny at times. Well, Robert, let me tell you a quick Duty story. 1984, when Gymnasium and I had invested what little money we had, and we pooled it together, and we bought a couple of Betamaxes and a video camera. And I had a Christmas at my house, and what I had done is, because we had about 25 people at the house for Christmas, and I had gone to Duty. I got the idea. I said, I know where I'm going to go Christmas shopping. Everybody's going to Toys R Us, and they're going to Macy's and JCPenney. And I said, I'm going to go to Duty's. I'm going to go to Duty's, and I'm going to buy everybody presents from the hardware store.
I remember that.
And there's actually a YouTube video. One of my YouTube videos is funny Christmas presents from 1984, where I know that I bought 4 plungers, okay? I bought a regular run-of-the-mill plunger, just a wooden, the regular, it's like red rubber, the cheapest Chinese rubber.
We used to call them plumber's helpers.
Okay, so I bought a plumber's helper. I bought that for my sister. Then, for my niece, my little niece, she was 9 years old. They had a plunger that was only about 8 inches high. It was like a plunger for a bathroom sink.
Oh.
So it was like a miniature plunger. So she got the little tiny baby plunger. She was laughing so much she was peeing herself. And then for my mother, I said, oh, mother, your mother has to get a special present. So I didn't buy her that little red Chinese plunger. I bought her this deluxe, the most expensive plunger I ever had. It had a yellow handle, and the plunger was black, and it was like a contraption.
Yes.
It was like 2 parts. It came in, one part a nozzle, and the other part went inside.
Went in the hole of the toilet.
And I said, you got the deluxe plunger.
Yeah.
And then the fourth plunger I bought, I unscrewed it. And I gave it to my other sister, and I said, I put in there, some assembly required. And that was some of the presents that I bought.
Father?
Did you give it to them in a duties bag?
No, I actually wrapped it. These were wrapped and put under the Christmas tree.
Oh,
I remember what you did.
Then
you know what? It's a useful present.
It was. I said, and my sister, she had her own apartment at the time. She goes, I actually needed a plunger. I did just what I needed. If you watch my video, and it's right here on my YouTube channel. And then for my father, I bought him an oil can, the old-fashioned oil can that goes ka-tunk, 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 ka-tunk. You know the little oiler?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
For my girlfriend, I bought her a rasp. I bought Mrs. Hayes a rasp. Yeah, it's like a file without a handle, like a metal file.
A rasp. Okay.
A rasp.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
And then for my friend Burke, I bought him a caster. One caster. One wheel. That's what I bought him. I bought him a wheel.
Wow.
So that's all. That was all thanks to Duties. Walking through Duties, it was the best place to buy Christmas presents.
Right. Yeah. No. We laughed. My brother and I would laugh when my parents drove us past in our Ford Comet station wagon. What was it? A Ford? I don't even remember. We would.
Was it a Falcon? Did you have a Falcon by any chance, or was it a Comet?
Falcon. I'm sorry, Falcon.
Yes, I had a Falcon.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's funny. We probably passed each other probably a dozen times in our life between Disney, ABC, and just getting around the street.
You know, I was thinking about this today. I was getting my morning coffee, and I just thought about it. And I says, if you had come up to me at ABC and introduced yourself, it would have been insane. It would have been crazy. I would have literally gone wild.
But we'll get the chance. We'll get the chance to see each other someday if you don't think it's too weird. Next time we're in New York, I'm gonna look you guys up.
Please let us know. We must get together. We will have a get together. Definitely. Crazy stuff, right, Jim?
Very crazy.
Funny stuff. You know what? If you could email me that, because I didn't catch it in the room, but email me that picture of Duties. All right, or you could text.
Okay.
You could send it on the phone. You have my number. You can text it to me.
I don't know if I have. This isn't your number. Can I text to this number?
No, I don't think so. I thought I sent you a separate message with my real number.
I think you can.
I didn't see it. Reply to my private message on Twitter. I didn't get your contact information.
Oh, will do. Okay, I'll make sure you get that because you need that.
Okay.
I'm going to try and text.
And we'll send a picture of Duties because it would be great for you to put it in the live stream so your listeners can see the glory and wonder of the Duties lumber store.
All right, Robert. Listen, hey, thanks for calling in again. And the first time you ever called us, that had to be what? Would you say WFAT, I think?
It was the first time I discovered you guys was WFAT. No, and maybe it was WFSR. You came on once as Free Speech Radio, WFSR.
That was during the blizzards.
Might have been that.
Wow, man. That's a long time ago. All right, Robert, listen, hey, always a pleasure. And we'll talk soon. I'll send you that number. I'll send you my secret number.
Okay.
All right.
Remember, depend on duty.
All right. Thanks for the call, man.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Think about it, Jim. We have been...
Did you get the text?
Wait, which one?
I sent it to the number.
Oh, to this number. Oh, it does get text.
Does?
I know. Yes. Test. That's all right. Yeah, people, you listen, if you want to test, if you want to text us, if you'd rather text us at area code 816-9-PIRATE, you can do that as well.
Oh, you should have asked if he knew what the very back of the picture tube is called. That thing that.
Oh.
Was it called a choke?
A choke sounds
Does that sound right?
That does sound right. It had a choke.
I think it was the choke.
Funnily enough, my 1968 Ford Falcon also had a choke. All right, the Ford Falcon also had a choke. Oh my goodness, Gymnasium. Well, that happened. I was saying we made a pact that after turning off the transmitter and here's the other thing, we couldn't even go back on the. Oh, do you remember this? Wait, back to FAT being busted. Mm-hmm. They wanted to go and announce. They said, could turn it back on. Do you remember that?
Yes.
They said, turn the transmitter back on. We want to make an announcement so that we can tell Washington, D.C. that we're here and that we busted you. And I'm like, oh, so it's okay for you guys to broadcast. But we said, oh, it's too late. We can't do that. We cut down the antenna.
It was the Henry Paulson.
It was the head of the New York field office.
Did he say something like, is it easy to put one back up or something like that?
And I said, yeah, I could put one back up. It'd take about an hour. I have to go back on the other roof. They were disappointed.
Yeah.
See, now imagine, Jim, if we had left everything on and just stayed on the air. Stayed on the air. Mm-hmm. Then we would have had Judah and Henry Paulson on WFAT broadcasting saying,
what an opportunity.
Attention, headquarters in Washington. This is Henry Paulson.
He would have turned into Robert Stack in the intelligence.
The chief engineer.
Rico, Youngblood. We got him.
We got him. We got him on there. I got my guns pointing at him.
Put him down.
All right. But we made that pact that if anything ever happened again, Jim, was it a yoke?
Yoke, maybe that's it.
That's it. It could be a yoke. Thank you, T.R. Buckley. Thank you.
Yoke. I was close. I knew it was a something with choke, yolks. You know, it rhymes.
I don't mean a yolk, Y-O-L-K either. It's Y-O-K-E, not an egg yolk.
That's it.
All right, we're not talking about egg yolk.
Let us go to Hank, our buddy Hank. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you? And how are you, Jim?
I'm good.
We're all good. Everything's good.
Thanks for asking.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, so next week is going to be a big week. We have been doing this for 8 weeks in a row so far, the Pirate Radio Guy podcast, and that is exactly how long, 50 years ago, that is exactly how long our first huge pirate station, WCPR, lasted. So we would be, like I said, the end of this week, the end of the 8th week of regular programming.
I want to point out that when we used the phone line on WCPR, right?
Yes.
We're using my parents' phone line.
Right.
And they couldn't make phone calls. Like if they need, as they say, we got to call car service. Sometimes they would pick up, and we had to drop the line so they can call a car for someone.
I remember that.
And people couldn't get through if they were trying to call. You just got to keep that in mind.
That was funny.
And the funny thing was, as we're doing the shows, my parents didn't even think of the legality of this.
Well,
they weren't concerned because I didn't tell them.
It just occurred. Thinking about the fact that we could have kept that transmitter on.
Yes.
Here's the thing: we never, to my knowledge, to my recollection, we never had a discussion about that. What are we going to do if? What if?
Well, with HOT.
No, I'm talking about CPR.
Oh, CPR. What if?
We were just two happy guys.
Yeah.
Is that one of my dogs? Oh, one of my dogs wants to come in, get in on the act. Come on. Licorice, everybody. Licorice, going wild. He wants to be part of the show. He's ripping out my headphones. Mrs. Hayes, Licorice busted in. Anyway, we were just a couple of happy guys. We had our transmitter going. We had a fun radio station. We were getting a lot of phone calls. And the one thing we never considered was, are we going to get busted? And what should we do if the eventuality ever happens? Like, we didn't talk about a contingency plan. It wasn't even on our radar. If it was on your radar, you never brought it up to me.
No.
So we were two, like I said, we were two complete, absolute idiots.
I got a headache in my brain over here. What is it, 28?
We were just having a good time. We were having a good time. The transmitter was working. The antenna was working. We improved the antenna from that steel cable that Gary first gave you. Mm-hmm. We were getting out. The signal was getting out. We had friends all across the country. We're having a good time. But we were so young. I think it was probably youth. It was a combination of youth and stupidity.
You're right.
That we didn't think, okay, the FCC could pull up and start knocking on the door, because we should have thought of it that way. What are we going to do if there's a knock on the door and it's the FCC? And the first thing you might have said, based on how you did react, you might have said, well, I think we should immediately turn the transmitter off, cut down the antenna, and try to hide the 200-pound transmitter. And I would hope that we could have realized, wait a minute, maybe it would be better. That's impossible. We can't hide the transmitter. It took 5 guys to get it in here. And maybe we would have said, well, what if we just stay on the air till the bitter end? Just have the transmitter on the whole time. And, of course, roll tape. It's got to be tape.
Tape
must
was rolling. We had tape. We recorded that.
But luckily, 50 years ago at this very moment, that was not on our mind. We had clear heads, Jim. That's what it was called. We had a clear head, okay? You got a clear. Your father ever tell you that? You got a clear head.
Oh, you jerk, for Christ's sake. You couldn't even break up peanuts, you ass.
My father told me that many times. He told me you got a clear head. So that's what we had 50 years ago at this moment. But 1 week from today, ladies and gentlemen, will be the 50th anniversary of the FCC coming down and coming down hard. Talk about coming down, John. They came down hard.
Yes.
All right? They came down hard on your mother and your father, Jim.
Well, sir, if you're having trouble, I would take some type of medication if you're regurgitating.
They came down hard.
That's right.
So that'll be 1 week from today. Hopefully, Pete's sake, will be participating, and I'm going to try to invite a couple of other people, because now the fun and games comes to an end. It comes to an end when the FCC shows up and walks inside and says, I'm sorry, turn that transmitter off. Can't do this. You're not allowed. It's against the law.
The yoke was on us.
Oh, that's a good one, Jim. That was a good one.
I still have a yoke. I have one yoke upstairs, my TV, that I can't get rid of.
Oh, I thought you meant you had food upstairs. Not supposed to eat. Remember, no eating upstairs, gymnasium. No eating upstairs, gymnasium.
Yes.
We're going to talk about that later. But anyway, let's say goodbye for now and invite everybody to tune in 1 week from today on the 50th anniversary of our first FCC bust. All right, Jim?
Yes. We'll have champagne. No, I can't. I get woozy on champagne.
By the way, I found the crazy thing. I found a little song, like a, how long is it? Like 15 seconds. It's a little song we tried to write about our exploits as pirates. You ready?
You should let me know this ahead of time so I could say, no, don't. 50 years ago.
Of course, Jim is going to say no. Hank says, when Jim, you know what? There was a commercial. What was that commercial? When so-and-so says, well, there was a couple of commercials. When your bank says no, Champion says
yes.
Remember that one?
Yeah.
And what's the other one? When E.F. Hutton talks, everybody listens. Listen, don't panic. Don't panic. I'm going to jingle into it. Ladies and gentlemen, 1 week from today, don't miss the PirateRadioGuy.com, YouTube, and our flagship on Vaughn.live, because we're going to have the exciting live reenactment. I'll have Mrs. Hayes come in. Mrs. Hayes is going to bust in, and she's going to be Jack Shadetsky, and she's going to dress up one of the dogs as Alexander Zimny, and they're going to bust into the door and recreate the very first FCC bust that we experienced 50 years ago today. All right, so we're gonna jingle into this, Jim. All right, we're gonna jingle into this. So we'll see you next time, folks. Stay tuned, because we're gonna have a little fun thing, and we're gonna see Gymnasium get scared, and meanwhile he's gonna find out there's nothing to be scared of.
They have these like pirate broadcasters. They're not actually pirates, but it means they're illegal, getting around the FCC rules.
Pirate Radio.
Your dial's at 1620 WCPR.
We call ourselves the Pirates, and we're from RNI. We have a great leader, he only sees out one eye. He goes to save us, and he does us some dick. But we're gonna hit him with peanuts and kill him with some sticks. Hey, hey, hey.
me.